Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa is withdrawing the 2022 amendments to the Ministerial handbook after pressure from the DA and civil society groups as well as public outrage. The amendments allowed ministers to benefit, for example, to get free water and electricity at official government residences. Let's talk about this with Professor Dirk Kotze, a political analyst. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Grateful for your time. So the presidency spokesperson yesterday, Vincent Magwenya, in making this announcement, basically tried to spin it as though these are the actions of a president who listens, a president who's in tune with the needs and the views of the people. But if that were true, how could he have been so tone deaf in pushing this ahead?
Yes, I think that is the general question is, for example, why, as they introduced it in the first instance, why is it because of pressure that it has to be withdrawn? And I think there's many speculations of what can be the reason for that. But if you look at the whole package that the ministers and deputy ministers over the years received, it is quite generous. And I think this is one way of keeping the government or the cabinet very much united, because there's vested interest for them in their positions. And I think this one is particularly a miscalculation of the current general situation in South Africa, where exactly water and electricity has become such contested issues in terms of the quality of it and the availability of it. So I think this was certainly one of the issues where the government possibly didn't even sort of calculate what will be the possible outcome of this.
And this does not sound, to me at least, as though it's a complete U-turn, because there is going to be a review.
Yes, that is so. And what is also included in it, in that the 2019 version of the handbook still exempts the ministers and deputy ministers from 5,000 rand of their accounts. So 5,000 is quite a handful already that they don't have to pay for their accounts. Everything above 5,000, as I understand it, is what they have to pay now. So it is still a very, very generous situation that they are enjoying, but that goes back before 2019 even.
So, Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele, actually went on a bit of a media tour, shall we say, last week. And in one of those interviews, in fact, with our very own Stephen Grootes, what he said was that, ministers are also facing tough financial times. I'm paraphrasing here. For example, they've got to pay to the tune of 10,000 rand for their own medical aid, and therefore it's not unreasonable that they get this assistance at official residences. But really, is that an acceptable explanation?
I'm not sure about that, or I'm not convinced about that. The total package of the ministers over and above their cash salary is quite generous. When it comes to the medical, they have PARMED, which is one of the best medical schemes in South Africa. The type of services that they receive is at the best level that one can expect or can receive. The fact that they have, for example, quite a number of flight tickets that they can use for them, they use for themselves as well as their dependents. The car allowances, I think, is well beyond what is even in some really big countries in the world, what is spent on cars. So the total package, again, as I said, is something which one cannot sneeze about. It is very comprehensive, and it is something which is therefore for everyone in politics very attractive.
But how damaging is it for a minister in the presidency to come out one week defending the amendments, and then a week later the spokesperson for the presidency comes out and announces that in fact there's a U-turn being made?
Yes, I think the minister in the presidency is in a sense a type of a second or spokesperson on top of the official spokesperson for the presidency. And he's basically there to defend the presidency and whatever happens in the office of the presidency. So very seldom it will be possible for him to concede that they have made a mistake or they miscalculated or that it is something that they have to reconsider before the presidency has taken an official decision on it. So I think this is where we see is that where there's, again, it sends out a message to the public in general that it looks like they are sometimes disconnected with the public, that the issues that are immensely important for the public and affects them all are not such sensitive issues for the members of government, the official members, the members of the cabinet and the deputy ministers. And I think this is one of the serious miscalculations that the government is doing at the moment. But I think what most members of public will say is they will need actually to take a few steps back and say, we won't take, for example, a salary increase this year. We will, on some of our benefits, we will possibly release those benefits and rather do it our own, on our own costs, as a message to the public of saying, well, most people are taking strain at this stage, and the economic and financial situation of many people are very difficult. So that sense of being associated with the public experience is at the moment to a large extent absent.
Thank you very much for that. Dirk Kotze, speaking to us out of Pretoria, Johannesburg, I beg your pardon.